Making tech house might seem like a hard thing to do, especially if it's your first time doing it, but trust me, it's simpler than you think. It all comes down to 3 essential steps. And the main point of this video is to walk you through the process of each one and show you everything in less than 10 minutes. So yeah, stick with me to the end of this video, it's gonna be awesome. But before we start, here are some good news. We just dropped our Tech House Master Bundle 2024 edition. It's been 2 weeks since our release and over 300 producers already got it. So yeah, thanks to everybody, you guys are so dope. So if you want to create better tracks, you should check it out down below. Now, let's get straight to the point and open up our DAW. I'm using FL Studio, but you can follow along in any software. So first, let's set a tempo to 126. I think that's the perfect tempo for this kind of genre. I like 125 too, but I feel like 126 is more energetic and matches the vibe better. So now that we set our tempo, the first thing we have to start with is the drums, the backbone of any track. So we will make sure they are tight and punchy, so let's find some cool sounds. Okay. First, I'm gonna add 4 on the floor kicks. Some spicy claps. And now let's add some hi-hats. And we get something like this. Also, I'm gonna add a percussion loop on top of it, so we make this more interesting. And now let's add some phantom claps here and there, so it doesn't get boring over time, because I feel like after 4 bars, it seems repetitive, so we need to spice it up in some way. Okay, that sounds good, I like this. Okay, so our drums are ready. Now let's move on to the bass, and I don't want to go crazy with it, something easy and catchy, because that's how I like to do it. So let's open Serum and pick something from the pack, which you can find on our website. And I want to look for something that sounds like Dum Dollar, because I feel like his bass lines really inspires me. So let's try something not too long, not too plucky, something in between, so we can find that cool spot. Okay, I'm gonna start with this. Okay, now let's see how it works with the drums, but before, let's add some sidechain to it. That's groovy. Okay, and to make the bass even more interesting, let's add a little bit of saturation to it. If you watch my previous videos, you know that I'm a big fan of saturation. It makes everything way more better, so definitely you should try it. And now let's add some distortion with no more than 30% threshold and 30% volume knob, and we get something like this.
Nice.
Okay, so now that we finished the 2 most important elements of the track, the drums and the bass, it's time to move on to the vocals. And here you have 2 choices. You either go with an acapella for something longer, or you go for some vocal phrases, something short like 3 or 7 words, like the majority of tracks out there. And there are a lot of places out there where you can find vocal samples, for example, Tracklib, YouTube, Voclio. But for this video, I'm gonna look for something on Splice. And I found this vocal right here.
Breathe and let me go.
Very short and simple. And now what I want to do is to create a gap before the drop and put a vocal right here. And also let's try right here where the build-up section starts, and I'm gonna add some delay to it.
Breathe.
Okay, and let's create an automation clip. So for this part, so we go to the fade.
And let me go. Breathe and let me go.
Okay, cool. Let's also eliminate the top loop and the hi-hats from the build-up section, because I want to make it simpler. And now to make this section more intense, because that's the point of it, I want something like a synth melody, something that builds energy. So I found this great synth inside Serum. Yeah. Okay. So let's create a simple pattern for the build-up. Okay, and now let's add an EQ and create an automation for the high bend to create that fade-in effect.
Breathe and let me go.
Also, let's add a build-up loop from the master bundle pack, so I don't have to waste time creating build-ups, effects, risers, crashes. It's just right here, it's just drag and drop. So this really helps with the workflow. And I also found this cool synth composition to fill up the empty space right here. And now to increase the energy even more as well, let's add an EQ with a high pass automation to create that build-up effect. Okay, now moving on to the structure of the song, which is very simple. We have the intro with the drums, then a breakdown where I added the bass and moved the hi-hats to make it feel darker. For the build-up, we have the snare roll and the synth. And finally, the drop is basically just drum and bass, nothing too crazy, followed by this synth. So yeah, that's it for the structure. Now for the final step, we need to add some sound effects to make it more interesting and to give it some color, you know. So let's add some impacts. Some crashes for the drop. And let's also add a little bit of ambience for the build-up. And some risers in between the sections. Okay, that's great. Now, let's have a listen to what we created here in less than 10 minutes. I hope it's less than 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm super stoked on this. So let's hit it.